I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the cowboy man. And he had, apparently, it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse, trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hindquarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey. I'm your host, Wayne, joined as always by my partner in crime, Miss Tiffany. What's up, ma'am?
Not too much. I'm a little under the weather. So I look a little haggardy, but I'm here.
A little haggardy? Is that what you said?
A little haggardy. Yeah, my hair is kind of flat. And I'm just like,
That Merle Haggerty?
Yeah, Merle Haggerty. That's the best kind of Haggerty to be.
Yeah, I think it's Merle Haggard.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I was testing you and your country music knowledge, and you failed miserably.
I didn't, because I knew you meant Merle Haggard, but I said Haggerty.
Hey, y'all know what? Go Big Orange.
Yeah, they won.
Go Big Damn Orange. Them boys. Buck Fama, y'all. Buck Fama. Anytime we beat Alabama, it is, the rest of the year is going to be fantastic because we beat Alabama.
Hey, there you go. I know.
Third Saturday in October.
I was telling you before the show that Zach had the game on when he was at work, and I was like, oh God, who's winning? I need to know who I'm working with tonight.
What kind of mood I'm going to be in?
Yes.
We got Georgia and Texas on in the background. Georgia handing it to number one Texas right now. It's a crazy year in college football.
Well, there you go. What? Troy said my shirt's close to a crimson red. He's surprised that you didn't make me change.
It don't matter now. We won.
Yeah.
We striped that rear end. Wear whatever you want.
Whoop that ass.
Orange prevailed. Actually, it was a very, very nerve-wracking game, and the game was not decided until the very end. Alabama got the ball back with the chance to go down and tie, but we intercepted the ball on the first play, so it was such a relief. It was a great game. It really was.
Yeah, because when I asked Zach the score, Alabama was in the lead, and I was like, okay, I know how to handle myself.
Yeah. For the third straight week, and I know this ain't a sports show, y'all, but y'all know how much I love Tennessee. For the third straight week, we didn't score a single point in the first half. Like, how do you do that? I didn't have to do it. Do it Rocky Top? Nah.
That's
How many of
funny.
y'all have heard that episode? Know what Bristol's talking about? Have you heard it, Tiffany?
I've heard it, yeah.
Todd Standing. What the fuck was he doing? I mean, how do you take an existing song, use the exact same music, but change a few of the words and call it your own? And he's crazy. I don't know, dude. There's something wrong with that man. There really is.
One definitely flew over the cuckoo's nest with that one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, a damn Lady Gaga song too. I mean, it's a beautiful song. I really like the song. It's very pretty.
Mm.
But he just changed a few of the words and said written and performed by Todd Standing. Like, what? Really?
That's stupid. He's like, I don't think he's all there anyway.
Yeah. All right, we're wasting time. We need to pay some bills so we can get to our guest that is waiting so patiently backstage. All right, where are they? There they are. Guys, if you are new to the show, thank you so very much for stopping by and hanging out with us. Before you leave, though, please take just a second and hit that subscribe button. Help Miss Tiffany and I continue to grow the show. And something else you can do is just tell people. If you like what you're seeing, tell people. Word of mouth means so much. It really does. Yeah, help us to keep growing the show. We're heading in the right direction, but we got a ways to go. Please hit that subscribe button.
And while you're talking to your mom and them, tell them if they want to come on with us to reach out to Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com, Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com. Those are the emails you can get us with, and we can get you on the schedule.
Guys, if you would, please head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. That is our website. Check out all of the other shows under the studio's umbrella. You got this one, That Bigfoot Podcast, which I co-host with Mr. Brian King Sharp. You got Sasquatch Odyssey, widely successful podcast hosted by Brian King Sharp. And you got True Crime Odyssey, Basement Hangout, Kentucky X Files, Backwoods Horror Stories, just all kind of great stuff over there. Pick up some merch, sign up for the newsletter, all that stuff. But you can't do any of that unless you go to paranormalworldproductions.com.
And if you have a question for our guest, if you would just put them in all capital letters, we save them for the end of the show. During the show, we grab them, highlight them, and they are asked within the last few minutes. We do a rapid fire Q&A, and we try to get to all the questions as much as time will allow.
All right, guys. We still have our membership open. We gained a new member tonight. Let's go over there. Where is it at? Shouldn't it be starred? There it is. Goonie Goo Goo. That is Miss Chris Blaylock's hubby, Gary.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Not only did Gary become a PO freak tonight, he is also the newest member of Manimal Research. Miss Chris is a member, and for those of you that don't know, Manimal Research is my organization that I founded back in 2019. We go out in the woods, we do investigations. Alex Smith, best $1.99 ever. Goonie Goo Goo, only $1.99. We go out in the woods, do investigations and all that stuff. We have one coming up. It's a members only, a Manimal members only, coming up next month. It is in the very early stages. We just started planning it today. So, yeah, Gary is our newest member of Manimal Research. Thank you so much, buddy. And thank you for becoming a PO freak.
We got the whole fam damly.
That's right.
In our little fam damly.
But yeah, guys, if you're interested in becoming a PO freak, it's $1.99 a month. $2. That's all it is, guys. You get extra content. You get the members only show, live shows like we did last night. You can become a member. You are invited to join the Discord. What's up, Mr. T? Yeah, just all kind of cool stuff. You get extra stuff for becoming a PO freak. We would love to have you again. It's just $1.99 a month. And real quick before we get going, you guys see at the bottom we have our Cash App and Venmo. Troy has already hit us up with $40.
Shut up.
Yeah, Troy
Like
just
right
hit us with right now.
Oh,
2 minutes ago. So, and the reason we're doing that, guys, we've been making a pretty good money from you guys the last few months, but YouTube take like 40%. That's so much. So, if you would rather do the super sticker, that's fine. You can do that. But another way to help us out is through the Cash App and the Venmo. And a few of you guys have been doing that. Troy did it tonight. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so very much. Troy, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's so
All right. You ready to get to our guest?
I am. I'm excited. Just the energy. And this when we were talking to her, you just feel their energy and you just know it. It's gonna be awesome.
You know it's gonna be a good show when the first question the guest asks is, "Can we cuss?"
I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah, let them fly.
It's an after-hour show. Just say the shit.
We got a fellow Tennessean, so you know she's got a potty mouth. This Stan Schrader Hill, a ghost hunter extraordinaire. If you are ready, ma'am, we're gonna bring her out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Damn it, how are you doing, Sin?
Damn it, I am fine.
Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And okay, what was the switcheroo thing just then?
Oh, we put you front and center.
Oh, yeah.
Over to the side.
Oh Lord, it's spotlight.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. I've been looking forward to this forever.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. You are a fellow volunteer. You live here in the Tennessee state along with myself. What got you interested in this crazy topic the actual going out and looking for ghosts? I mean, what happened?
I have always been a weird kid, and it just kind of fell into place that this is what I needed to be doing, but I didn't know how to do this. So I got started late, actually. All the ghost adventure shows, all the, drama on TV, I wanted that. And then when I got into it, I realized, hey, that isn't how it is. We sit in the freaking dark and try to get evidence. We don't do what those people on TV do. They get stuff in like 40 minutes and they can present it to the client and it's amazing evidence and everybody knows what's going on and then they go to the next show. No, that is not what happens. That is so not what happens. We sit in the freaking dark in old buildings a lot of times and hope that we hear or see something. So there you go. There you go. Ghost Adventures has come to Fayetteville. I live in Flintville, Lincoln County, Tennessee, just north of Huntsville, Alabama, if you're looking for it. And they came with a, wait, hold on, a script.
Ah.
Yeah. So we told them, hey, you know what? All you got to do is go in that hospital. You don't have to have a script. And by about the third person that told them that, they decided to go in without a script. And it actually was one of their better shows.
Now, this is Ghost Adventures?
Yes.
The one with Zach Bagans?
The one, yes.
Okay, yep. What hospital are you talking about?
The old Lincoln County Hospital in Fayetteville.
Okay. Yeah, we've had several ghost hunt. I don't know if you guys like to be called ghost hunters or paranormal investigators. whatever you like to go by. We've had several people on that do what you do, and they all say the same thing. You watch an episode of Ghost Hunters and all the other 20 different other paranormal shows, and it's an hour long. They come in, they do their thing, and they get all this activity in a few minutes, and then they present it to the homeowner. They have the luxury of editing. That's not how it really goes.
That's
I
right.
mean, you go into these places and you sit for hours and hours. I've never done what you do. I'm a big chicken.
No, you're not.
I'm terrified that something's going to latch onto me. I'm going to take it home. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But I've never done what you do. But talking to other people that have, that's what happens. Y'all go in there for hours at a time, hoping just to get anything.
Yeah.
And then the people on TV make it look like everywhere they go, they get something.
I know when Ghost Adventures came into town, they had blocked off 4 days. So, and you know, when a show goes on the television, minus commercial time, it's maybe 40 minutes. So they pack 4 days worth of filming, including B-roll and anything extra that they need. They go around town and look for extras that they can throw in and cause a bloody scene or something, you know, and they left the blood on the sink that, you know, that they used for the show. So it's a lot of acting. Sorry, guys, but it is. It is. And if you're lucky to find a really good show that doesn't go in and act, they're few and far between.
Zach seems like kind of a drama queen.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
And I'm going to tell you, I've been watching Ghost Adventures today, like all day. And there was one of the shows, and I'm not discounting that this family wasn't having issues, because obviously they were. However, he was hyping it up. They were on Goatsman Bridge, okay? And I mean, I get it. We've had Luna and Nolan on that's been to the Goatman Bridge, and you know, it's just so totally not what he was making it out to be. And he was like, he had his hands on his neck, and he was like, "Oh, it's joking me," and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! You're so like, it's so fake."
Is that the one, Tiffany, where like one of the camera, it was a chick, the camera people or someone that was part of the production crew, something happened to her, like she become possessed or something?
Yes, it was that one. It was Ashley, where she
Wow.
was like boohoo crying, and she
Yeah.
ended up quitting the show because she ended up with some dark attachment, and yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, yeah, you can get an attachment if you go anywhere to these things and tempt spirits. But I mean, how convenient was that they got it on camera?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and it's disheartening, because it makes, you know, paranormal investigators, it puts this stigma on them, and everybody thinks that you guys are like what they see on TV. Well, this is not as seen on TV.
I know a lot of times that we'll get emails that, "Oh, we have got a demon in the house. Please come and get rid of it. Please come and tell us who it is, why it's here." You know, well, it's probably not a demon. You're probably watching too many shows,
Yeah.
and I need you to fill out a questionnaire. So that questionnaire has stopped most of these investigations, because they really want a show. They want to see Zach show up and do a show for them in their home. We don't have time. We will come in and investigate to see what's there and spend time with you, answer all your questions, do whatever you need us to do there if it is a legitimate thing going on. But you got to remember that when we come into a home or a business or whatever, that the whole time we're filming, if we're lucky, we only have one camera and one recorder. And then we go home and review all of that evidence. Some of these people go in with several cameras and several recorders, and you've got hours and hours and hours, and you cannot get that done quickly.
Yeah, just like Goony Goo Goo says there, ratings. That's what it's about. Trying to keep people coming back.
Yep.
All right. Well, Sin, we're going to get into some of your personal experiences.
Okay.
But before we do, remind me, what town is it? What's the name of the town you live in?
I live in Flintville now.
Okay. Flintville is known, and the name was escaping me. That's why I asked you. Flintville is known for a possible Bigfoot, a series of Bigfoot sightings, I believe back in the 70s. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it freaked the hell out of the people in that town. Yeah, and you and I were talking a little bit about it. Do you mind just sharing what you do know about it?
Sure, I don't care at all. A couple of my friends actually know a little bit about it. And I got that information from them. My house sits about from 3 to 5 miles from where this monster was seen. There was actually a Bigfoot sign on the gravel road back in close to the Vantown crossing. And it said Bigfoot crossing. Someone stole it, but it was there for years and years. Back in the 70s, this not so nice Bigfoot-like creature was seen chasing after a young child playing in the field. And his mother happened to look out the window and see this thing chasing toward him to get him. And she made it to the kid before the thing did. There were other things that said it would show up and just wreak havoc, mess up cars, try to hurt people, things like that. Another person said that it was actually white. So I don't know if that means like a Yeti or if it's like an old Bigfoot. I don't know.
I remember hearing that, Sin, and that's a really good question. Also, I remember hearing, and you might have heard this too, living as close to Alabama as you do, the Alabama white thing. Have you heard stories about that?
No.
It was supposedly a white Bigfoot.
Oh, maybe that family, or
that was this white Bigfoot that was, if I remember correctly, terrorizing this area a lot like the one you're talking about in Flintville. So I'm wondering if it was the same one, possibly.
I wonder too. I actually learned about the Flintville monster from my friend Bob Dahl. Bob has the Caffeinated Cryptid show.
He's been on. Bob's a buddy of mine. I like it.
He's actually made 20 minutes from me.
Wow.
So yeah, Bob Dizzle.
Yeah.
The Dizzle. Everybody needs the Dizzle.
Tiffany made the mistake of saying everybody needs a Dizzle when we gave her hell. Tiffany, what you do in your private time with the Dizzle is fine. Okay, just keep it to yourself.
Oh goodness gracious!
Yeah, I need to talk to Bob about that to see if he knows anything about the Alabama white thing. But you brought that up. You brought up something, Sam, that I thought was really interesting about maybe the age, and I have considered that.
Have you?
Yeah, as we get older, our hair turns white or gray. Who's to say as these things age, they don't do the same thing? And maybe you're not seeing an albino creature, you're seeing an elderly Bigfoot.
Who knows?
There's no such thing as a Bigfoot expert, as much as some people like to claim to be. Are you an expert on a creature that we don't even know if exists?
Same goes with ghost hunting. There are no experts. We're all learning from each other.
Yeah. And I have actually thought about getting out your way. How far are you from Chattanooga?
We're maybe 90 minutes. Not very far.
Really? An hour and a half?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I need to get out there and check that area.
Me and Bob will get together and you come down with us and
y'all can take me on a ghost trip, and I will get out in the woods with y'all and do some Bigfooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
I'm sure Bob's down for it.
Oh yeah, I'm
You
sure
need to
he was.
record it. You need to record it. Do it live.
That'd be fun.
Or Tiffany, you just get off your ass and drive 7 hours from Virginia and come with us.
Well, I mean, I've also not ever been on a plane, so I mean, there's always that option. It's better than driving 7 hours.
Yep. That's definitely something that we need to talk about and get in the works.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Sin, I'm curious. The most haunted place you have ever been, where was it and what happened?
It's the old hospital for me. I know a lot of people say things like Gettysburg. I've been there. Yes, it's haunted. Alcatraz. Yes, I've been there. It's haunted. But for me, it's the old hospital here. I don't know if it's because I've gotten to go so often and just things have experience after experience have racked up. I don't know. But there's some crazy things that's happened there. I don't normally get scared, and I've been scared twice in the old hospital, and it's by something I don't really know how to explain other than feeling rushed at. Something rushes upon you. You don't see it, you can't hear it, but you can feel the vibration, and it's like the loudest silent scream right next to you that you can't hear, but you feel that vibration coming off of it. And it is powerful, and they do not want you in there, and they're just trying their best to get you out of that space. And once was in the crossroads of the old hospital. We were doing a public hunt, and I had to go back to get a piece of equipment. Went back by myself through this place and, not worried about it. And that's when I got rushed and then had to make myself calm down to go get the equipment and then walk back through there, back to the people. And so my heart was like, oh, like that. It happened again on the second floor with my co-founder, Sean. We had gone lights out. The owner left us and said, you guys have fun. So we had gone up on 2 where most of the things happen. Most of the weird experiences happen on the second floor. So we had gone lights out, and we were just watching for shadows and death lights and things like that. Death lights are little tiny pin pricks of light that can be different colors. It can be orbs, true orbs.
Now, real quick, Sin, why do you call them death lights?
Just because that, other than I don't know, I just call them that. I'm not sure why they're called that. I know that they're tiny orbs that can be all different colors, and I've seen several different colors on the second floor of the hospital. But I think it's because that they are spirit orbs, just from a different spirit. When we talk about orbs, that's when you're getting into a gray area, because most times when somebody sends a picture and says, look at this orb, it's like a droplet of water or a piece of dust or a
dust particle.
Fly, a gnat, something flying in front of you. But a true orb has its own light and has its own path, and it can change direction and doesn't go with the flow of a breeze or something. So
what is it about orbs? Because people were reporting them with Bigfoot sightings too.
I think they're just balls of energy. And if, we don't know if Bigfoot can change shape. Can he change so that he's orb part of the time and then Bigfoot like ghosts do?
Sin, there's people out there that will tell you yes, they can. I don't know if I'm in that camp, but there are people that will say it.
I'm wondering if everything's just connected. I'm wondering if spirits, cryptids, all of it, even UFOs. I'm wondering if it's just all connected. And
a lot of people will say that as well.
Yeah.
The Bigfoot and UFOs are connected. I'm not in that camp, but I mean, there are. What's the name of the hospital?
Old Fayetteville Hospital or Old Lincoln County Hospital.
Old Lincoln County Hospital.
Hmm.
Closer to me in Chattanooga, there is the old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Have you heard of it?
I have. I've not
Have
been.
you been there? You haven't been there.
No. Are you going? You want to go?
I want to go. Yeah,
Let's go.
I would love to go. But my question is, what the hell is it about hospitals?
Yeah. I think because there's so much energy, good and bad there. You got birth, you got death, you got everything in between. Trauma, emergency room trauma. It's and even workers that are having bad days or good days. All that energy is there. Some of it left as residual, which means it won't interact with you when you, like, if you get a recording of it, a voice recording of something, and it's not interacting with you, it's residual, which means it's just playing over and over on a loop. And then
Yeah.
you've got the other that is actually intelligent and can answer questions and carry on conversation sometimes.
Have you ever experienced an intelligent haunting?
Several. Some good, some bad. Nothing demonic. I've never been around anything demonic. Not that I'm looking for it, but I've never. And no, I'm not looking for it. I don't really want to see anything demonic. I see, that's how I unwind. I watch like a possessed movie, some kind of possession, to wind down so I can go to sleep.
Isn't that
Bless
funny?
your heart.
Right. I don't want to see one in person.
Oh God, that's like my biggest fear. And I told you earlier, the only reason I don't do what you do, Sin, because I'm extremely interested. I like being scared. I like investigating and looking for things. I'm just so terrified that something is going to latch on to me and I'm going to bring it home and give it to one of my kids, or I'm not going to be able to get rid of it, or something like that. Have you experienced that personally, or anyone that you've worked with, your team members? Do you know of anyone that has?
Both. I actually got hitchhiked by a nice ghost. You can't really pick, who comes home with you and who doesn't. We can only be as safe as we can and go in and be smart. Try to, whether you believe in prayer, whether you believe in some kind of ritual, you've got to prepare yourself before you go into a haunting or Bigfoot, right? You got to kind of prepare yourself before you go hunting for Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
You can't just like put yourself out there and expect to be safe the entire time. You've got to have a backup plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always say a prayer, and then I've got rituals that I do always. And one of them is if I'm feeling a little antsy or, weird before I go to an investigation, I'll take a shower and throw some salt in there, white light myself. So just the thought of white lighting yourself, even meditation, just a little meditation to white light yourself and protect your aura and everything about you before you go into these places can kind of set you up to be safer. And hopefully nothing will happen. Sometimes things happen anyway. We were on vacation, and we were going up to my husband's family in Pennsylvania, and we had been there seeing a couple of his relatives, and we went down to Pittsburgh, and I got food poisoning. So that sidelined me for about 24 hours. And then we got back on the road and went through the rest of Pennsylvania, Lancaster Dutch Country, Valley Forge, Gettysburg, all the things. And what was so funny is that my husband's from there and had never been east of Pittsburgh. So I was playing tour guide to my husband who's from Pennsylvania and having a good time, but that food poisoning sidelined us. So once we got back on the road, we were in Valley Forge one day and it was really hot. So I remember having to sit by the air conditioner because my stomach wasn't 100% just yet. And he went and got the truck and we left. By the next day, we were in Philly. Not a problem. I was feeling great. We both had Philly cheesesteaks. We got on the road, went down through Shenandoah National Park, and then back through Tennessee and home. And about 3 days, I guess, after we had gotten home, I noticed there was some extra sounds in the house that I wasn't used to. And I waited for him to go to work and then got a couple of my pieces of equipment out and started asking questions and just walking around talking to nothing. I couldn't see anything, couldn't hear anything. I just felt it. Every once in a while you would hear a little rustle of something, but you couldn't pinpoint to where it was or what it was. So with a couple of questions, I got an EVP, a Class A, which means when I played the recorder back, you could hear it plainly. And that's what we're always looking for when we go for ghost hunting. We're looking for those Class A EVPs. I was walking around saying, I know you're here. I can't see you, can't hear you. Please talk to me. Please say something. And I came out of the bathroom and said, okay, I can't hear you. I'm turning the light off. And when I went back to listen to what I just recorded, as I turned the light off, she said, thank you. I went, I knew it. I knew I had somebody here with me. I knew it. And so I asked more questions. Found out she was a nurse that had come down from the Valley Forge area, whether or not she was a nurse during the time of Valley Forge or later, but she was a nurse from that area and had hooked onto me because I was sick. Came all the way back, and that's why I was feeling better the next day. About 3 months into her staying here, the energy shifted again. And I reached out to my friends and said, okay, I think my nurse friend is a little antsy. What can I do to help her? What do I need to do? And they said, thank her and wish her on her way. And so I did. And she was gone almost immediately. What's so funny is that we also had a ghost cat, and she took the cat with her. So I think that's sweet.
That is sweet. She was a cat lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The term hitchhiking, is that common? Because I think that describes it perfectly. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. I know my friend Valerie is very sensitive, and she can see things better than me. She's seen a lot more spirits than I have, many, many, many more. And when she first started really getting interested in paranormal stuff and knowing what to do, she'd been around it since she was like 8 years old, if not before. Her mother, her grandmother, everybody was having experiences and premonitions and things like that. And so she went to this cemetery one day and was being bombarded by all the spirits around her. And she said, y'all just come with me if you want to. And I said, Valerie, no, you did not. She said, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And she said, when I got in the car and was driving home, I happened to look in the reflection of a storefront as I was passing it. And it was like a clown car, all these spirits going on. And I said, you know not to do that. She said, I know now.
Are you freaking serious?
Mm. Mm-mm.
Can you imagine?
No.
I would shit myself.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's like a concession stand line. You're like, okay, how can I help you? What do
No,
you need?
I want everyone right now to just close your eyes and visualize driving in your car and passing one of these, like a bank or something with big like mirrors on the outside, and seeing someone else in your car, knowing you're the only one in there. How creepy that would be.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing a car full of people while you're driving and knowing you're the only one there. Oh my god, I can't imagine.
But they do. They and a lot of times when they understand or they pick up on the fact that you're sensitive or you can, you
That's
know,
the thing.
help
Yeah.
them, they need something. And I had run into an old high school friend of mine a few days ago, and she was saying that one of her friends was like really perplexed for like 30 years. And he was followed around by this was a shadow person everywhere. So
Really?
he finally broke down and went and talked to a Native American, and he was like, this thing, I've been oppressed by this thing for 30 years. He's our age. And he was like, what can I do? And he was like, ask him what he needs. He needs something. He's with you because he knows that you were the only one that can help him with it. And so she said when her friend had started saying that, things got lighter and it wasn't so awful. The experience wasn't as bad as it had been the past 30 years. And I'm like, damn,
Damn, he had
30
somebody with him
years
for
is a
30
long
years?
wow. Because that would have put him, I'm 44, so that would have put him at 14.
14?
Well,
Jesus.
teenage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teenage years are when things ramp up a lot.
Yep.
Sure
It's
do.
wild.
You mentioned cemeteries, and I love cemeteries.
I do too.
I love the old ones. I like just going and looking and just reading the tombstones, seeing the oldest one that you can find. I
Hmm.
feel at peace
Yeah.
in cemeteries.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why I don't understand why people get so freaked out at cemeteries, because chances are the person didn't die there and they
Right.
didn't live their life there. Why would their soul be hanging out in a cemetery? That's just dead bodies.
No, but you've also got horror movies out that show all these things coming back to life, digging up through the grave and that kind of thing. So
That's
people
true.
get kind of weirded out about being in cemeteries because of that.
Yeah.
Well, and two, if you think about it, the more you think something's there, the
Yeah.
more it's going to manifest itself, and it's really going to be there.
Yeah. And
Then, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say, just to add to what we were talking about a second ago, the more you get involved in the paranormal, the more spirits know and come around you. So that's another thing. You become like a beacon and they know to come to you. And if someone is a medium and doesn't know it, which can happen a lot, they can get bombarded with all these spirits and be terrified of all these things happening around them and not know why it's going on. So that happens. I know growing up, I had panic attacks really bad. And it wasn't because of anything paranormal, really, because I had some weird things happen, but nothing that was terrifying. But if you've ever had a panic attack, that by itself is terrifying. And I
Yeah.
found out later when I started investigating, which I've only been investigating since 2013. So not very long at all. And when I started, I was being trained by ghost hunters of Southern Tennessee out of McMinnville, James Jones and Wayne Baker. And Wayne told me that I was sensitive. He said, you're sensitive. Because we were out in the back with this, the first one I went with them on, the first investigation. It was a residence here in the county. And we were walking around the backyard and he said, okay, where should we go now? And I said, I don't know. He said, yeah, you do. Where do you want to go? And I said, over here. He goes, all right. So we would go over there and he said, "What's over here?" "I don't know. Something feels weird." And, we'd talk a little bit and go to the next spot. And after about second or third time, he said, "You're sensitive, right?" And I said, "No, I don't." "What do you mean?" He says, "You can feel things. You know where to go because the energy changes. When something's off. When something is looking at you or, talking to you and you can't hear it, things like that." So a lot of us are more sensitive than we think. That is what was causing my panic attacks. I was taking on everybody else's energy around me growing up, and I didn't know it. So you have to learn how to shunt that, how to cut it off so you don't take on people's energy.
Now, did you mean to say Mac Mimble?
I did, yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's McMimble, but people from there always say Mac Mimble.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Like a joke, inside joke. I'm stupid. Sorry. Yeah, I mean that's really interesting. I don't know. I've always loved cemeteries. I've never felt like danger or anything from them.
Yeah.
Sam, have you ever seen an apparition, like a full body apparition?
I have. I've seen lots and lots of shadow figures, lots of those. I've also seen a full body, beautiful ghost. She was had long red hair, gorgeous woman, dressed like in this evening gown. And we found out that she was this man's mother that was attached to the furniture, and she was showing herself as a young girl. She was gorgeous. I've also seen the little girl at the old hospital, and she is around 8-ish. And we were doing another public tour, and I happened to see her out of the corner of my eye and turned to look, and she just kind of went back through the door and was gone. And then I saw my nephew last year when we were in Florida. We lost him in 2022, motorcycle wreck. And we had, I believe, come in from dinner or were just about to leave, one of the two. And we had not been there long. That day is when we'd come in. And we stayed at the same condo every year. We stayed at it this year too. But I happened to see something move out of the corner of my eye, and light caught something. And I started to turn to look, and it was Wyatt. And then as I turned more, he just kind of went away. So, but the flash I saw was the sun on his head. And but it was in the living area of this condo. We weren't outside, and it was at night. So to have his hair glinting like gold and turning around to see him, I wish he had stayed when I turned all the way around, but he was gone immediately. So, yeah.
We've all heard the saying, there's nothing more beautiful than a baby's laugh, unless it's 3:00 in the morning and you live alone.
Yeah.
Kids are great, but what the hell is it? Why are our ghost kids so damn creepy?
Because some of them aren't kids.
What?
Yeah, some of them aren't kids.
Explain.
They will show themselves in a form that you are going to feel more comfortable with.
Yep.
They're not going to come out and be like, oh, whatever they look like, whether they're still in their death state. Sorry, I'm not meaning to take over your answer, but
No, it's true. It's true. You got it.
Okay, well, elaborate.
All right. So I don't think ghosts like what they look like, because we went to one residential case over in Colombia, and I have never seen so many mirrors, crucifixes and crosses, wind chimes in the house, and things like that, figurines, religious figurines. I've never seen that many in one home outside of a religious museum or something, or a church. And I found out later that spirits, evil spirits, bad spirits, negative spirits, don't like to see themselves. They portray themselves in as bad a shape as they can, or as scary a shape as they can, to intimidate people that they appear to. But they don't want to see themselves when they look in a mirror. So they won't go in where a mirror is around.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Right?
Love you, Wayne. Mean it.
This stuff just creeps me out.
I think it does. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I'm interested. I'm so very interested. But oh God, sometimes be careful what you ask for, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Um,
You want me to elaborate a little bit on that home?
yeah, please.
Because it's kind of creepy, actually.
Okay.
This woman had reached out to us. And again, it was when I was with the first group before I founded Elk Valley. And she had reached out saying that there were some things bothering her. She was afraid for her family and especially her grandchildren. So we went in, and after I was a case manager at the time, so I had to call and ask questions on the questionnaire and get answers, and then call back to the founders and talk to them about it. And we set it up. But what she had told me was that she had been working with witchcraft and Ouija boards and things like that, but she had quit years ago and had thrown the books away and no longer had the Ouija boards, yada, yada, yada. So when we get there, I have already started really enjoying trying to capture voices. So my favorite pieces of equipment were recorders and the spirit box. And I could hear the spirits better than a lot of the people could coming out of that spirit box. So when she started talking and asking questions, these spirits were coming through calling her liar, and you know who we are, and you called us. And she said, they're lying. Excuse me. They're lying. I don't know who you are. And they would say, you're lying. You called us. And I would repeat that back to her, and she'd say, no, that's not right. And then it got ugly. They were saying things like, we're going to take you into the dirt. You're going to just bad stuff. So that was honestly the closest I've ever come to anything really ugly. And once we finished the investigation and I came home and downloaded the audio and was going through it, getting all these EVPs, they were all bad. They were all really creepy about how they weren't going to leave because she'd called them. She had invited them in. They didn't have to leave. That she was going to pretty much bite it with them and go into the dirt with them. Things like that. Just, weird sentences. And so I called James and said, you're not going to believe some of these sentences. He said, well, before you tell me, he said, let me tell you that she just called and said she doesn't want us to come back. And I said, what? And he said, she doesn't want to know. And I said, oh, man, it's because they know, the whole thing. They know she's lying. They were calling her out in front of us, and she had not thrown anything away. She was still working with all the dark stuff.
Oh, God.
And I don't know if that woman is still alive. No idea.
How long ago was it?
That was back in 2013. So I have no idea. I had another friend that really wanted to go to a demonic possession. And I will watch all those movies all day long. But if it's a real one, I don't know. I don't think I'm ready for that. But he wanted to go, and he said, Sin, why don't you go with us to the possessed person's house? What? There's a possessed person? He said, yeah. What's that?
Somebody's phone ringing.
What in the hell just
possessed? Something's possessed. Well,
okay, sorry about that.
That was cool, actually. But anyway, he said, come and go with me. And I said, I don't think so. He said, well, come on, just think about it. And I said, well, I'll think about it. He said, let me show you a video. So he had this video the woman of the house had sent him. And it was just a fixed video camera sitting in the living area, I guess. It was focused on this buffet that had a couple of vases and whatever sitting on it. Nothing moving, but the audio to that was crazy. It was all this growling and voices, guttural kind of voices that you hear on these movies. And I'm like,
growling's just creepy as hell.
And I asked him, is that for real? He said, yeah, that's what she's living with. And that's after they exorcised it. And I went, what?
Oh, my land.
What do you mean after? He said, there's 13 of them left. 13 left in the house with this woman. Her daughter had been possessed and had been taken to hospital to be taken care of after she was exorcised.
Where is this at, Tim?
It is around the Tullahoma-ish area.
So Tennessee.
Yeah.
So this is local.
Yeah.
I
can't say exactly because my friend really wanted to go. And my friend, I think, was getting so interested in it that he got too close. He had a heart attack and died.
Yeah, there ain't no way you can get me to step inside that house.
No.
No.
I'm not ready for that. I'm not.
No, because when you go to somewhere like that, knowing what you're walking into, you're asking for it. You are asking.
Yeah.
Demonic possessions terrify me. Movie The Exorcist or The Exorcist of Emily Rose or all those movies, I can't do it.
I can't watch those.
Oh my God. I can't do it. You can't pay me enough. You could not pay me enough to go into a home where that's happening to somebody. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And to me, those are the scariest movies ever.
The Exorcist ruined me. I'm here to tell you.
It's rough.
That's a rough one. Yep.
Yeah.
But no, I can't. I've had some weird things happen to me from things that I didn't know what was going on. I had to talk to my friend Mark is the one that does the cover work and the illustrations in my books. He's a really, really dear friend of mine, and I'm actually editing his book right now. But until I can get his book out, my other ones are just kind of waiting. So I'll get mine out after I do his. But he is the person I go to whenever I have any kind of question about anything paranormal, anything. And even if I'm having just a strange feeling about somebody or going to a place and getting a flash of something in my head, like, why did I get that flash? Why did I get that? I don't even know what that memory is. It's not a memory. It's like a deja vu thing that it's not one of mine. but I'll call him and ask him. And anyway, he has been on the receiving end of a lot of my phone calls going, what the hell is going on with this? Tell me what happened here. I got jumped through an email without knowing what was going on. And it's not that they actually hitchhiked, but they came through an email. How the hell does that happen?
We just email you spirits nowadays. I mean, it's modern times.
How the hell, though? We had gone to a woman's house down around the Alabama line, and she had a friend that had gotten involved with some darker stuff and really wanted to be able to talk to spirits. So they would go on ghost walks whenever they could and cemetery walks. And she would try to talk to a specific spirit. And when you do that, whenever you're asking any question to any spirit, you're inviting them in. So you got to know to close it off, to close the session, to end it. That's why if you're ever doing a Ouija board, you better say goodbye, close the dang thing. Otherwise it stays open and things can pop through. Well, Spirit Box is the same way. A recorder is the same way. If you're talking to spirit and asking spirit question, and don't say, okay, that was enough. Good night. Bye. Thank you. Something. They can still come through and bother you, hitchhike, and that kind of thing. So we go to this woman's house who had this girl going and asking all kinds of spirit questions. And she stayed the night at her house. And then her house started ramping up with activity that hadn't happened before. And people were seeing things. So we got called in and we investigated and did, all our investigation, whatever. Afterwards, her friend reached out to me and said, I heard you investigated her house. I've got some things going on with me. Nobody's believing me. I'm being harassed by these spirits. I'm being stalked and nobody will listen. So I said, send me whatever you got. I'll try. So she sent me a video clip and I answered back. I said, there's nothing in your video that's paranormal and there's no audio attached. So I hear nothing. So immediately it felt like she sent me like 5 or 6 clips. One was from inside her closed car. The others were around her apartment. And so I listened to all of them. There's only one I couldn't use because it was next to a radio and the radio was on. So I had to throw that one out. But the other ones, I picked out one sentence or two from each one and then sent them back to her. And in each one, the spirits were saying, nobody believes you and you can't get rid of us. And we're going to keep coming at you and things like that. So I sent those back to her and she sends me back another email and says, my brother wants to talk to you. He's a cop. What did I just do? Why does a cop want to talk to me? And she said, that's my brother. He hasn't believed me and you do, and he wants to talk to you. So I'm like, I don't know where this is going. I end up talking to her brother. He is a cop. And he says, I cannot believe that she actually has someone with proof that she is actually being antagonized. I said, she is. She most definitely is. She's being harassed, but it's by spirits. And he says, I can't tell you how many times she has put in harassment or stalking orders and trying to get people arrested by things that we can't see. we can't, we've looked into it. We can't find anything. We can't see anything. And I said, yeah, because it's all spirit. It's all ghost stuff. And he said, well, how do we deal with that? And I said, she needs help, or they're going to push her over the edge. They're going to make her go crazy. She's got to talk to somebody, and she's got to get her place cleaned up and sorted out, whether it's blessed by a priest or whatever. It needs to be cleansed and everything kind of lightened up, like with sage or whatever. But she needs help, or she's going to go crazy and you're going to lose her. And he said, can you come down? No, it was too far where she lived to go. But I said, I can find you someone to go and do that. And so we talked a little bit more. During that time, she sent me a couple more EVPs to try to figure out what the voices were saying, the electronic voice phenomena, what they were. And I was exhausted after talking to her brother. So I just like, I'm going to do this tomorrow. Shut the computer down. And then for some reason, nothing related to her or that at all. My husband and I got into this little spat. And we were just, we got over it. It was something little. And we got over it. And then we get to the next day. And I decide to open my computer back up and see what she sent me. So I opened these 2 audio clips up and put it through. The first one says, you can't get rid of us no matter what you try. We're going to always be with you, blah, blah, blah. So it's pretty much the same stuff I'd been getting. The second one I pulled out was to me. And it said my name and said, come down to us. And pretty much said, we'll help you with that little problem you and your husband were arguing about.
Oh.
And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
What? Well, I was shocked. I couldn't even talk. I closed the computer down and I just kind of thought, oh, what the fuck just happened? What just happened? What just happened? And I came into a different room, didn't say anything to my husband because I was weirded out. I know he would be. So I came and called Mark and I said, Mark, what the hell just happened? He said, well, tell me, just calm down, tell me. And I told him the whole thing. And he said, okay, calm down. It's okay. Well, I don't think so. I don't think so, because they were coming through at me. He said, well, yeah. But it's like a parlor trick that they can pull. He said, you didn't do any kind of blessing or any kind of protection before you did that, did you? No. Before I do audio work? I'm thinking, I never do. He said, you always need to. If you're going to deal with spirit voices or spirit audio, video, whatever, you always say a protection prayer or meditate to cleanse your aura. Otherwise, they can read your aura. It's not that they're going into your head, but if you haven't smudged yourself or reset your aura, they can come in and read about 48 hours worth on anybody. I had no idea.
No.
But bet now, whenever I work with audio, I'm protected. I'm not going in like that again because that freaked me the hell out.
As it would anyone. That's creepy as hell.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right, we got several questions I want to get to if you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
All right. The first one is from my great friend, Mr. Troy. Do you believe ghosts or spirits or disembodied people that have passed? If so, why do you think they stayed instead of transitioning?
I think that some are. I think some stay around because of unfinished business, whether it is to look after somebody or to check in with somebody, or maybe they didn't get a message to somebody yet and they hadn't figured out how to. Some, like my nephew at the very beginning, didn't know he was gone because it was such a bad accident.
Mm.
So he was just kind of there around us, being kind of weirded out because we were so upset. I didn't see him, but Mark, my buddy, I'd called him and he said, he's there. He's around you. He's confused. He said he didn't see that one coming. And when he said that sentence, that's exactly something Wyatt would have said. I didn't see that coming. But
Wow.
it just depends. Now, some of the voices and spirits we see were not human, have never been human. It can be something native. It can be something that has been conjured, because that really happens. People actually do conjure things. And thought forms are another thing. If enough people are thinking about something, and it can become some kind of weird energy. Some of the things out there that we deal with are parts of people left behind. Like if there's something very traumatic that happened, that energy can stay in a place. They can move on and, whatever, but part of their personality can stay behind in the limestone and wood or whatever materials that are around that area. So I hope that kind of answered.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. The next one is more of a comment. My buddy Alex, going back to the Bigfoot stuff. Inbreeding in animals can increase the likelihood of having albino kids. So that could be part of it. Possible inbreeding with the Alabama white thing or the.
Yeah. Or the Flipple monster.
Yep. That's it. All right. My buddy Troy, did you have invisible friends as a kid?
No, but something was attached to some of my dolls. I don't know what it was. And that was when I was growing up. I was a weird kid, right? But I was even weirder because I felt something in my dolls or stuffed animals, and I'd have to turn them around to get dressed in my room. But something was attached to something. I just don't know what it was. But no invisible friends.
Okay. Also, Troy, have you ever been touched by a spirit or ghost? Great question.
Yeah. I've not been hurt by one, but it felt like someone has touched my hair, moved my hair. It felt like someone has kind of tapped me on the shoulder, held my hand, different things like that.
Okay. Troy also asks, are you familiar with the Bell Witch? And have you ever been to the farm?
Yes, recently. That was a great trip. I went up and some of my friends were working it. They were actually in the cave area. It was Regina Blatt from, what is she with?
I've heard that name.
Regina Blatt and Lee Pig were in the cave. Eric Freeman Sims was supposed to go, but he couldn't because he had hurt himself. But they were in the cave, and this place was awesome. We were split up into 3 different groups, and I got to go to the cave last. The first part was the Indian burial grounds, and then the second part was the cabin. But when we were on the Indian burial grounds, a storm moved in. So we're on the Trail of Tears. It's a full moon, and a storm is coming in.
Damn.
What more could you ask for? And
Perfect storm.
Yeah, on a haunted property. And so it was a bad one, enough that we had to sit out for over an hour and a half. And the whole hour and a half we were sitting out, Lee and Regina and their group couldn't get out of the cave. They were stuck in the cave. So when they finally got out, Lee comes up and he's going through some of his video and he goes, Sin, look at this. And I leaned over and I said, who was that? And he said, it's nobody. And I said, somebody went in front of the light. And he goes, no, that light was up too high. And I said, Lee, it looks like an animal. And he said, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I said, Lee, it's a wolf. It's a wolf. This wolf shadow goes across right behind Regina in the back part of the cave. And they said after that sometimes a wolf had shown up as Bell Witch. She had kind of gone, into different forms. And one of the forms was a wolf. Mm-hmm. It was good. It was a great piece of evidence. Really, really good.
That's another place I really want to go. And it's a shame that, and I live in Tennessee, and that's like the most haunted thing we have in our state. And I haven't even been there, but I will get there.
Either. I hadn't until just a few short weeks ago. It was great, though. It was great.
All right, Ristal, since you mentioned it, what are your thoughts on the Ouija? My mom used to use one regularly with positivity until one day when it was banned from our house.
There's a story there.
Yes, there is.
Well, as long as you're safe with it, it's just like any other piece of equipment. You have to be smart, though, and it's not a toy. Just like a recorder is not a toy. A spirit box is not a toy. You've got to respect it and go by the rules. So when you start talking to this thing, trying to get answers, you've got to close the board. I know a lot of times things have happened and it's because people have not closed it.
Okay, Troy, this one just came in. Have you ever tried the Bell Witch calling? Stand in front of a mirror at midnight and say, I don't believe in the Bell Witch 3 times, and she will appear in the mirror. Troy, if you want to try it, you go ahead, buddy, and let me know how that works.
I think growing up, we had tried that. We also did the Bloody Mary.
I've done the Bloody Mary thing.
Yeah, that didn't happen either.
No. All right, last one, Troy. Will you come back for a second show? I know you've got more experiences.
I would love to. Absolutely, I'd love to.
Yeah, we're pretty good people.
I think
we try to be.
I think you are.
We would love to have you.
I'd love to come back.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Tell everybody where they can find you if you have any pages or anything like that. Also, I always take the audio from these shows and I upload them to our audio podcast, which has a lot more listeners than our YouTube channel, unfortunately. But so if you have any links or anything you want, send them to me and I will include those in the show notes. But tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm on FaceNote. I'm on Facebook. You can
read Face Notes.
I was gonna say, man, I missed the social media platform.
Yeah, Sin Trader Hill author. Reach out to me there. I'm also got my Elk Valley Paranormal page on there. My books I'm self-published on Amazon. There's 5 right now. I'm working on 6, 7, and 8. As soon as I get done with Mark's book coming out as soon as possible, then I can get my 6, 7, and 8 out. They'll be on Amazon as well. And if you are interested in electronic voice phenomenon, Elk Valley Paranormal, anything like that, go look at elkvalleyparanormal.com and look at our evidence from the old hospital and different things. If you've got my 3rd book, They're Speaking, Are You Listening? My most compelling EVPs, you can actually listen to all of the EVPs in that book on that website.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Again, send me all those links, and I will put those in the show notes.
Okay.
All right. And again, you've already been requested to come back, and I'll second that. So we will set that up if that's
Sounds
all
good.
right.
That's perfect.
All right. Again, thank you, ma'am, so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You guys too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
I knew that would be a good show.
Yeah,
I just knew it.
they usually are.
Just knew it.
Yeah, she's a really cool lady, and we will definitely get her back because I had questions in my head that we couldn't get to. I mean, we're already an hour and 20 minutes.
I
in,
know. And
So
it doesn't feel like it. It just goes by.
not at all. This would have been a 2-hour show if I could have asked everything. So we will definitely get her back. While she was talking, I didn't want to interrupt her, but we got hit with another Venmo.
Oh, y'all are so sweet.
Mr. Scott Trent, thank you so much, buddy. He hit us with a 50 spot.
Thank you.
So Scott and Troy, you guys are awesome. You are our heroes tonight. Everyone's our heroes. We love y'all.
Chris said we should all get together and take you goes done.
I think Chris and Goonie Goo Goo are going to be coming on our, well, I'm pretty sure they are going to be coming on our Manimal expedition next month. So maybe we can get out and find some spooky stuff to check out other than Bigfoot.
That would be cool. I mean, you're going out into the woods. So it's not just Bigfoot out there.
You're right. Quit yawning.
Sorry.
You're making me yawn.
I'm sorry.
I'm fighting it. All right. Say your goodbyes, ma'am.
Bye, you guys. We will see you all. What is today? Saturday? Tuesday. We'll see you Tuesday. Thank you for coming, and thank you again for all the support.
Tuesday, we have an awesome show lined up. We have D.A. Roberts and Robbie Raines. It's a Dogman show. They're going to be talking about Dogman, Bigfoot. They've got some pictures that are going to blow you away.
I'm so excited for that because Dogman is
Cannot
my
wait.
man.
Yep. Cannot wait. That's going to be an awesome show. So y'all make sure to tune in Tuesday. But until then, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.